Listen, ever since I can remember, we've been talking about Pete Rose and his career turn from shoo-in in the Baseball Hall of Fame as the greatest hitter of all time and manager of the Cincinnati Reds to outcast, to a man that will never get into the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum because he was busted betting on the sport, and he was busted for wagering on 52 Cincinnati Reds games and hundreds of other baseball games in 1987 when he served as Cincinnati's manager. And then on August 23rd, 1989, he and Bart Giamatti signed the same document that banned Pete Rose permanently from baseball for life, which is the sign on the wall. Anybody who's ever been in a Major League Baseball stadium or in a Major League Baseball dugout, as a matter of fact, I think you can see it in this photograph on the wall of number 14 on the phone, potentially to the bullpen, as what looks like player manager of the Reds right there, right?
Bullpen.
Okay.
In quotes.
That's how he's on the phone. Is that on the wall the sign from the baseball commissioner? You can't bet on the sport.
It's in the clubhouses.
It's in the clubhouses.
Sure.
It's everywhere. It's 100% explicit. Can't do it. Doesn't matter if you bet on your team to win. Doesn't matter on your bet on a team to lose. And as a matter of fact, you bet on your team to win, you're still making moves potentially that you wouldn't ordinarily make if you don't have your own money on the game. Bringing in relievers that you shouldn't be bringing in. Bringing in players that you know need the day off. I mean, these are facts of the matter. Shoeless Joe Jackson, one of many players permanently banned for life as well from the 1919 Black Sox team, as it's known, because he was, along with 7 other White Sox, banned by the first commissioner of baseball, Kennesaw Mountain Landis. Kennesaw Mountain Landis in 1921 sent 8 Chicago White Sox to the permanent baseball Huskow, fixing the 1919 World Series. Anybody who's seen the film, the brilliant John Sayles film in 1988, 8 Men Out, also the books about it, knows the story there. Well, yesterday, our friend Don Van Natta of ESPN, who's going to be joining this program in just 2 hours, about an hour and a half from now, he got the leak that Major League Baseball's current commissioner, Rob Manfred, was going to reinstate everybody on the banned list who's passed away, that the ban from baseball is not eternal. It's just a lifetime ban. As the commissioner of Major League Baseball said, obviously a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game. Moreover, it is hard to conceive of a penalty that has more deterrent effect than one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve. Therefore, I have concluded that permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list. Pete Rose passed away last September at the age of 83. So he's eligible to go into the Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame should put him in immediately. They will not. There is a process, as is everything. There is, based on the newish rules of enshrinement for the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in beautiful Cooperstown, New York, a historical overview committee that develops the ballot of 8 names for the Classic Baseball Era Committee to vote on when it next meets in December of 2027. Rose and Jackson and everybody else who's just been reinstalled would need 12 of 16 votes to win induction, and they should get the 16, all of them. We all know Pete's accomplishments. Let me just give it just in case for kids out there who may not know. Lifetime batting average of 303. Major League Baseball's current career leader in hits, games played, at-bats, singles, and outs. 3-time World Series champion, twice with the Reds, once with the Phillies. Rose said, and I guess you can't, stats experts have not really figured this out. He won 1,972 regular season games.
Yeah, played in the most winning games ever.
That's the most ever.
Yep.
3 batting titles, 2 Gold Glove awards, and Most Valuable Player award. He was Rookie of the Year as well. And you want to talk about Shoeless Joe Jackson? He should get in right away as well. He had a career batting average of 356, 4th highest in Major League Baseball history. And he took $5,000 in gambler's cash to throw the 1919 World Series. He should get in the Hall of Fame just because he's the worst tanker in history. He's fixing the World Series. He batted .375 in the World Series.
He crushed in those games.
Didn't make an error and hit the World Series only home run. Yep. Only home run was hit by Shoeless Joe Jackson. That's him tanking.
Yep.
All right?
Imagine had he tried.
So the question isn't, should Manfred have done it? I guess the only person who might anybody here disagree that he shouldn't have done this? Anybody?
This should have been done a long time ago.
Okay. I disagree with that, but we'll get to that in a second. Who's it hurting? I guess the only person who might push back on this is the guy who investigated Pete Rose, John Dowd, the investigator, former Justice Department attorney who investigated Rose for Major League Baseball. He told ESPN in 2020 that he believes Jackson should be in the Hall, but not Rose. Quote, "There's no difference with him being dead. It's about behavior, conduct, and reputation."
That's a quote from yesterday?
That is a quote from 2020, John Dowd.
2020.
So that's a 5-year-old belief. I can't imagine anything's happened in the last 5 years.
No,
anything that we've learned in the last 5 years wouldn't help Rose.
Right.
And that refers to some other off-the-field news regarding him.
I just didn't know if he said that after Rose passed in the fall.
No, you said that in 2020. And I don't know why it would matter for John Dowd to change his opinion. He's the one that knows where all the receipts came from, and he's the one who collected them. And not all of them, I imagine, in his mind. Listen, I have said over and over and over again that if you think Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, you do, right? Everybody does. That the only way I would have him in the Hall of Fame while he was still alive is if you put on his plaque what happened. Because it's a museum.
Exactly.
It's also part of his story.
And they have a plaque, okay? That when you go in, you get a plaque, and on it is text. In the Pro Football Hall of Fame, all you do is you get a bust, and it's on a plexiglass shelf, and the only information that's there is your name and the teams that you played in the years that you played for those teams. That's it. And baseball is a story. The story should include what Rose did, and that he was banned for the rest of his days after being investigated and found guilty of gambling in 1989.
That seems fair.
And now it's time to put him in, and we should have baseball just say, listen, we're going to make an exception for the all-time hits king. And you could even throw Shoeless Joe Jackson in there as well. And the rest of the Black Sox that just got reinstated, you know, some of the names are familiar. If you remember 8 Men Out, Buck Weaver, right? And Eddie Seacott, the pitcher. I don't know. But certainly for Rose, you want to throw Shoeless Joe Jackson in there as well. Let's just get him in. Let's just expedite for the all-time hits leader. And that would be maybe a gift to all the Rose fans who thought Pete's been wronged. I didn't think Pete was wronged. As a matter of fact, all he had to do was just admit what he did. And I think baseball was ready to just throw him in the Hall of Fame, man. He never did it. I said it all the time. I'll repeat one more time here what I've said over and over again, just in case this is your first time hearing it. When Mickey Mantle died, before he passed away, he was talking about his battle of alcoholism and how it ruined his family relations and many of his relationships in life. And he went on a tour to basically say, don't be like me. If Pete Rose did that about gambling, I thought he would have been in the Hall of Fame. If he even did that for his book that came out in 2015, just admit it. This is what you did. This is what I did. Gambling ruins families. Instead, he's like, I still gamble on sports. I live in Las Vegas. I will not stop doing it. And baseball, at the time with Bud Selig, was like, okay, then we're not, there's nothing to talk about here then. So I don't think Pete Rose being banned for life was wrong. Certainly the way in which he was completely stubborn about admitting what he had done, what he signed a document saying that he had done. And now it's time to put him in the Hall. And Manfred has opened the door, and the Hall is basically saying, yeah, we're going to meet in 2.5 years. All right.
The Shoeless Show died in 1951.
Come on. Like, can we expedite and just say we're going to make a one-time exception, that the only time we're going to make this exception is when the commissioner of baseball removes 9 names from the list, including the all-time hits king, at the same time. If that ever happens again, we'll do this again. Unless it doesn't happen, we're not expediting for anybody. You make the rules. I mean, that's, again, Manfred is saying what Bart Giamatti said before his passing. It's up to the Hall. It's their rules. You know, it's their rules. So you make it up. Make these up. Make it up. Put them in. Do it this summer. Put on the plaque what he did. You want to come up with the number of words that you can put on the plaque? 2 sentences about it? 1 sentence about it? Put on the plaque. It's part of what happens. It's part of why he didn't get in.
You can't tell the story of baseball without
You can't. Hey, Mom and Dad, if Pete Rose did all this, why did it take,
Well, look at the asterisk.
30-something years for him to get in the Hall? Well, read the plaque. End of story. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.